Okay, so this is the Tesla Model Y long range, and we just left our destination and we're headed back. And we have the supercharger that we're going to stop at is 176 miles away. We've gone a few miles, but we have 316 miles of range on the battery, so battery's like 97% full right now. But if you can see, even going 176 miles, we're only going to get to the supercharger with 9%. Now, a few things that are going to affect that are going to be where we're at now into the supercharger. It's probably a 4,000 foot elevation gain, and then temperature is a lot colder there, and then the speed also. So what I want to do is I want to just show you guys. I'm going to go the speed limit. So right now it's 65. It'll be 75 when we get outside of the city, and then when we it'll be 80 miles an hour probably for 80 miles of that. So I want to just kind of show you how, even though I've got 316 miles, that's going to be kind of hard to achieve because elevation, temperature, and speed, those are the three real factors of, and I think we also are going to have a headwind. I don't know if it's factoring any kind of wind or not, but we're not going to have that much of a buffer when we get to this destination. So we're going to see if that actually holds true, if it holds around 10%, but I'm going to keep the climate control around 70 degrees. I'm going to go the speed limit and just kind of see how the battery, see what our percentage is when we get there. Because 10%, that's a decent buffer. If it was 5% or less, we'd have to really watch our speed, but I think we'll be fine just to go to the speed limit. So we'll keep you updated. Alright, so status update here. We're about, 39 miles from our destination from the supercharger. And we're still on track to be about, have a 9% battery. So it's kind of held what it's originally estimated. So right now, so we've gone, I don't know what the original mileage was, but the next 38 miles are going to be pretty much all climbing, probably about 2,000 feet of elevation. So I wouldn't be surprised to see if that drops to 5%. When we get there. So you might think that, okay, that's not very good, that we had a full battery of 320 miles and we're only able to go 170, 180 miles or so. Really that's not that bad. The fact that we have to stop anyways, I mean, we probably wouldn't be able to go any further anyways. We'd need to get out and take a break anyways. And the fact that this will charge up so quickly, when we get to this supercharger, we'll get 200 miles in 20 minutes. So that's going to be great. So even though you don't get what the actual range is, the speed has a big deal. I mean, when you're going 75 to 80 miles an hour, that really affects the range. If I was going 60 miles an hour, it would have, that would have been a whole bigger difference here. If you can see our charging screen, this is the energy screen here. So if you can see here, we've gone 196 miles, and we've used the plus 15 miles, mean the speed that we've driven has taken an extra 15 miles out of the battery range. The climate, because we've set the climate at like 70 degrees, it's been about 50 to 55 degrees, so it hasn't been that cold. It's going to get colder as we climb up this 2,000 feet of elevation or so. So it's that might take a little more consideration. Also, this just kind of gives you an estimation too. Driving below 70 miles an hour would have saved me 21 miles, so it just kind of gives you an idea of that. Now, I'm going the speed limit, or around the speed limit. I haven't gone under the speed limit like I did on my last leg of the trip, so going the speed limit and it's going to be 75 to 80 miles an hour uphill, up a 2,000 foot of elevation climb over 40 miles. So it's a big climb, and I'm going to put the speed cruise control at the speed limit. I'm not going to go slow, because whether we get there with 9% or 5%, it doesn't make that big of a difference, and it will charge. The lower the battery is when we get to the supercharger, the faster it'll charge up. So We'll see what our battery is when we get there. All right, 1 mile away from the supercharger, and we actually have 12% battery, or what it's estimating 12%. So we actually gained a little bit going uphill, which I was very, very surprised. So what that means is Tesla's estimated in their soft navigation software, they account for elevation, the speed limit, and temperature. It's actually not as cold here as I was expecting. It's 47 degrees here, whereas a little further south and a lower elevation, it was like in the mid to low 50s. So temperature didn't drop too much. I kept at the speed limit. It was 80 miles an hour most of the way up a big incline, and the car did pretty good. And so the navigation software does a good job at estimating what your remaining percentage of battery is going to be at your destination at the supercharger. So I'm pretty surprised that it's as accurate that it has been. As long as you're going the speed limit, and I think it's accounting for your elevation change in temperature. So if you're going significantly faster than the speed limit, if you're speeding, it's going to be less, obviously. But good to know that you can actually just go the speed limit and get there with what it's estimating it to be. So we're going to pull in. This is so on the next two stops on the supercharger, we're going to stop here for a few minutes, and then 50 miles up the road, we're going to stop again because there's a V3 supercharger right up the road, 50 miles. So we can skip over a level 2 supercharger. We're going to go right there. It'll actually save some time because there's one that we actually would have to wait at if we stop at a level 2 supercharger that only has 150 kilowatts. If we can skip over that one, that's best. So it's helpful to know your superchargers, like which ones are a 150, which ones are 250s. If you can skip over a 150, it's going to reduce your stop time. All right, we're going to...
Okay,
so
this
I only
is
ended
the
up being
new
at the
station
supercharger
at
for
the
about 10
Eureka
minutes. We got
Hotel
120
in
miles of
Mesquite,
range
Nevada.
back in the battery in that 10 minutes. That's a huge amount in just a short amount of time.
Canopy
More than enough
here.
to get us to the next 50 miles to the V3 supercharger. Guys, stay tuned to the channel. I've got more information on this, but I'm very impressed with Tesla's software in their GPS and estimating tools when you're on road trips. That's very important because you want to make sure that you're getting to your destination with enough charge, and this software they have in their cars to estimate what your state of charge will be when you get to your destination is very accurate. So the key is just sticking to the speed limit. If you can do that, you're gonna be able to comfortably get there. It's gonna be stress-free. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching the video. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks.